Alright, y'all. Boruto Chapter 11 spoilers have finally been released, and there was a lot of great information that did actually come out in this particular round of spoilers. Now, first things first, we do have to talk about where we left off in the last chapter, and that's essentially Himawari turning into a new Jinchuriki. Now, in this particular chapter, we see Jura and Himawari actually go at it. One of the things that we did see a little bit earlier was Himawari actually utilizing this full-tailed beast bomb. Now we get a little intel and information about specifically what happened behind this particular scene right here. Now, supposedly Himawari asked to fight Jura alone. Shikamaru kind of notices something very cool in the midst of this, and it's very similar to the dynamic that Urashiki had with Boruto, where Urashiki wants to capture Boruto, but he can't really kill him. Same thing with this situation where Jura wants to capture Himawari but doesn't necessarily want to kill her. One of the other things that we're kind of noticing is the fact that Himawari is not necessarily a regular Jinchuriki. One of the things that we did see in the last chapter is the fact that Inojin, he almost died. Now in these spoilers, we realize that Himawari, her actual healing ability, actually healed up Inojin. So it seems that Inojin may not actually die, which could be a bummer for some people out there. Might be a bummer for me. I gotta sit with this to see exactly how I feel about it. But regardless, we do find out more information about Himawari and her healing ability. And in fact, later on in the chapter and later on in the spoilers, I'm probably gonna hint on this a little bit later on in the video, Jura actually talks about Himawari's healing abilities and how it's not necessarily that similar to that of a Jinchuriki. It's more similar to that of a tailed beast. Himawari having a higher affinity with Kurama's chakra is already paying dividend. In these particular spoilers though, during this actual battle, Jura did actually say that he was gaining some sort of understanding. Now, they didn't necessarily go completely in depth and specifically talk about what Jura was actually understanding, but on the heels of that, Jura also said that it made him want to actually go all out. It made him want to not hold back. Now, it doesn't necessarily say that he was actually going all out, because I assume that Himawari would pretty much be destroyed if that was actually the case. Now, Sarada and Hidari, they had their scenes as well. In the spoilers, it started off with them actually cornering and questioning Hidari, which is Sasuke. I'm pretty sure you guys know. One of the themes that continues on in this chapter is the fact that they know nothing. They know absolutely nothing. They're essentially asking Hidari, what does he have to do with Sasuke? And again, Hidari has absolutely no idea who Sasuke is, even though he is technically the chakra manifestation of Sasuke. He doesn't really know who he is. Of course, Sarada, she's still lost. She's essentially still asking Hidari why he's able to use a Chidori. But Hidari actually talked about how he doesn't even know exactly what the Chidori actually is. And Hidari in this particular scene puts two and two together and says maybe he needs a Sharingan to actually fully match the Chidori, which is a cool concept in itself, because Hidari has Renegans, and we understand that, hey, the Renegan is in a way like an upgraded version of the Sharingan, but it still doesn't necessarily do some of the core functions of the actual Sharingan. By the way, an important character that was actually added to the scene was Konohamaru. Shout out Konohamaru, they're actually putting him into some good scenes. Assuming they gave him some prior intel about how Hidari was actually trying to target Sarada. So of course, in this particular scene, Konohamaru is also asking a bunch of questions to Hidari. Now, as this happens, supposedly Jura uses a clause to shock Sarada. Now, again, this is a spoiler, so we don't even really have the actual pages in front of us to actually see what's going on, so we don't even fully know exactly what's going on. But specifically, this actually did get to Sarada, and this right here did actually cause a problem. Some ninja actually tried to help Sarada in this particular situation, but it seemed that Hidari actually defended Jura, and we kind of see it from one of the early panels that we did actually get in this particular scene right here. And again, this right here goes on to my guy Konohamaru as well, but we see Hidari using fire style right here, and then we see Konohamaru try to utilize a Rasengan and try to catch Hidari off guard. Oh my goodness! Shout out to all the Konohamaru fans out there, just praying my God finally gets a W. I think he's probably going to get one with the introduction of Matsuri a little bit later on. But one of the interesting things Konohamaru did actually show in this particular scene right here, Hidari teleported directly behind Konohamaru, and then Hidari himself tried to attack Konohamaru with a Chidori. Again, Hidari talked about how he can't necessarily fully master the Chidori, so I guess this could be a point against Konohamaru, but impressive regardless. Konohamaru supposedly used a new move to protect him from Hidari's Chidori. The move is called a Futan Rasen Shohiki, a wind element spiraling barrier. This isn't the first time that Konohamaru pulls something like this. If you guys recall, he had a scuffle with Kashin Koji, and he pulled something out of his back pocket that I don't think anyone really ever really seen before or was too familiar with at that given moment. I believe it was back in chapter, I believe either 23 or 24. Hidari then turns his attention to Sumide and then knocks her out using some sort of a lightning style. Sarada gets hit, Himawari gets hit, but again, the thing about Himawari is that she also has the healing power. After this, Chibi Ninetales is essentially like admitting defeat, saying, hey, if they fought against like any other opponent, it would have likely been a different fight, but Jura and Hidari, they're just different beasts, no pun intended. The series then changed to Kawaki and Delta. At this particular point, Kawaki and Delta, they're essentially walking back, realizing what just essentially just happened to them, but also understanding they now have to defend the Hidden Leaf Village against the Shinju. And at this particular point, the Shinju, they've proven that they're likely stronger than Kawaki. So Delta, she's asking Kawaki, hey, what are you going to do? And at this particular point, I think either a couple of things are going down. Either Kawaki knows he has something in his back pocket, or this could be one of those delusional moments that even Naruto has a lot of the times. For example, when Naruto fought against Jigen, lost, realized that Jigen got stronger, turned into Ishiki, and then Naruto went gung-ho and tried to fight against Ishiki, even though he understood he was completely overmatched. Kawaki could be doing that very same thing right here, or Kawaki could know that he has something in his back pocket, kind of like a trump card, something that's very popular among ninjas. However, while they were talking, Boruto zips right by them. And I thought this was actually interesting in itself, mainly because Boruto understands that he was put out of commission for a solid 4 to 5 business days because of his karma resonating with Kawaki, and him essentially flying right by Kawaki again just shows how reckless my guy actually is. But regardless, supposedly Sarada noticed a frog that was standing directly behind Hidari, and the frog that was by Boruto at this given time confirmed that a frog had arrived at Sarada's place and that the symbol will be square. So again, this right here is kind of hinting towards the flying god or flying rising technique that Boruto has, and it's going to be solidly very different than what we did see with Minato's, or let's say the second Hokages. In this particular scene, Boruto is now flying to a square mark. Prior, a couple chapters ago, he flew to a triangle mark. And I believe later on they're probably going to get to find out there's probably going to be more shapes, probably circle, probably a rectangle, a bunch of stuff like that. But now we're getting into the actual background, the actual functions of this brand new flying rising technique that Boruto has. Now it says that Boruto teleported right behind Hidari and then cut off his hand that held Sarada. So Boruto is saving the day. He's essentially sprinting towards saving Himawari and then teleport to save Sarada. Now I do want to see exactly what happens when the full thing comes out, because all we're really seeing right now is just words. Hopefully when the full thing comes out in a few days, it makes the chapter even better. But from what we're seeing off these chapters, a lot of stuff happened. I really like this chapter. I think a lot of you guys are probably gonna like it as well. One of the things that I do like about this chapter is that when it comes to action, it's not only going to have that, but it's also going to have the information and intel as well. So I like this chapter a lot. I do want to see what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. But it's been your boy Bar B, and we out.